Good morning, my lovely tens. Right, buddies, here we go. Second lesson of our brand new unit. Last lesson you learned about something called congruence, and you remember that what you did is you figured out if two triangles were exactly the same triangle or not. That's what you did pretty much last lesson. There was a whole bunch of letters that you had to remember, like SAS and ASA and SSS and all sorts of stuff like that to determine if two triangles were the same triangle. But then you learned the funny way of doing it, that as long as it's not as, the two triangles are congruent. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to extend into something a little bit different, something more useful, to be honest. And so your title for today is called Similar Shapes. So please put that down as your title. Now, similar shapes, my buddies. If two shapes are called similar to one another, it means that they're actually just a blown up version or a slimmed down version of each other. So if you look at Dr. Evil and Mini-Me, he's like a smaller version of him. So they're similar, but they're just of different sizes. So pretty much, if you blow something up and make it bigger, if you enlarge it, or if you shrink it, then it's going to be called similar. Now, all you have to know for triangles to be similar is this. It's A. So whereas there was a whole bunch of congruence criteria for two shapes to be similar, they just have to share the angles inside, which makes sense, right? Like if you let the angles go wonky, say you imagined a rectangle, if you had a rectangle and you let the angles go all wonky on it, it wouldn't look like a rectangle anymore. If the right angles stopped being right angles, then it wouldn't be a rectangle anymore. And that's how similar shapes work. If you want something to keep its shape, you've got to keep the angles. You can make them bigger or smaller. You can make the sizes, you can make the size of the sides bigger or smaller, and you'll get a bigger or smaller shape, but the angles have to stay exactly the same. So that's the trick. So you've got to show A. Now, I think this is going to be a really short video today, but I'm going to do my very best to make sure that you understand it really well, and that you definitely know how to do every part of it. Okay, so here we go, buddies. First triangle that I want us to look at is this one. Now, it doesn't actually ask us to find or to show that they're similar triangles, but I would like to anyway, because that will really help us in the future, okay? So here we go. To start with, I want to show that this has got similar triangles in it. Now here we go. The two triangles, first things first, is can you see them? There's actually two triangles in this picture. I mean, I can see that one, the top one, but can you see another triangle? Well, yeah, you got it. It's the whole shape, right? ADE is a triangle. This whole big one is a triangle, and so is ABC, the smaller one on the top. So here's what I'm going to suggest that you do for every single one of these questions, my buddies, because they get pretty tricky. Wait till we get to 2 slides down the line, or 1 slide down the line, to get quite tricky. Here's what I'm going to say you should do. If you've still got your highlighters handy from yesterday, or your coloring pencils, crack them out right now. So go and get them for me if you don't have them. Okay. And here we go. For all you have to label, my buddies, is this. First things first is look at this angle at the top, A. I'm just going to color it yellow, or whatever I'm doing with my coloring pencil, just to indicate that that's yellow up there, okay? Now, here's the thing. If we think about the big triangle that goes all the way around, this angle here is going to be blue, because it's its own little angle down there in the corner. And this one's going to be green, because they're not linked to each other either. So we have 3 colors there. So the big triangle has got a yellow, blue, and green corner. Now, what color do I color this angle here, the one at B? What color will I color that? Well, yeah, it's blue as well. And this is where the trickiness comes in. This is where that year 8 skill comes in about remembering the angle facts here. So, yeah, it's going to be blue as well. Can anyone think of why? Well, yeah, you got it. It's because it's an F angle. Can you see it's an F angle there? So we've got a fangle on the go, my lovelies. This is a complementary angle, isn't it, my buddies? So, what's it called? Oh, drat. Oh, I can't remember. Alternate and the other one. Corresponding. It's a corresponding angle, these ones. F angles are called corresponding angles. And if you check it out, look, this has to be blue and that has to be blue because they belong together in the F. Now, same deal here. This one's going to be green because they belong together in a backwards F. They're in this F that goes down like that. Do you remember this stuff from year 8, my buddies? Ages ago, but do you remember it? Yeah, good. So here we go then, folks. I'm going to erase the F's out, but that's how we did it, okay? So it's good that you spotted that. Now here we go. Let's get rid of the F's because they're just muddling the picture a bit. And here you go. We've got our things labeled. Now, it wants us to find DE, which is the bottom length here. I'm going to call it X, okay? It wants us to find DE, which is the entire bottom length. Now, in order to get DE from the big one, here's what you got to do. We're going to have to actually work out this thing's what's called scale factor. We need to know how many times bigger the big triangle is than the small one. And here's how you do it. You get a scale factor like this. Now, you can do this 2 ways, but I'm going to do the easy way with you. If you want to find the easiest possible way of doing a scale factor, I recommend doing it like this. Scale factor. Just do the big one over the small one. That way, you won't often be left with a fraction. So first things first, you got to find some sides that match. Now, the sides that match in this triangle are going to be these two here, and I'm going to color on them in, whatever, let's use orange. This bit here, I guess I'm using red, that bit there, see that 5 centimeters? It's between yellow and green on the small triangle. What's between yellow and green on the big triangle? Well, yeah, it's all of this, isn't it? That's between yellow and green on the big triangle. Can you see that, buddies? These are the two sides that are going to match one another in the similar triangles because they're both describing the right-hand side. Whereas this one was 5. How long is the long red one? Well, yeah, it's 15 because it's this 5 and that 10. So it's 15 centimeters the whole way. So doing scale factor, you're just going to do this. You're going to do big over small. So how long is the big part? Well, 15. How long is the small part it matched with? Well, 5. So that's 15 divided by 5. It's 3. So we just determined that the scale factor is 3, buddies. So I hope that you have your head around that. Because check it out, my buddies. All you're going to do now is you're going to mess about with the scale factor. We can get X straight away. So you want to get X? Let's do it. Well, X is going to be, well, first things first, X is between blue and green as the angles go. So it's corresponding to this 4 because the 4 is between blue and green too. So between blue and green was X and between blue and green is 4. So it matches to the 4. Here's literally all you have to do. Write down the 4 to start with and just say to yourself, is the X going to be bigger than 4 or less than 4? Yeah, bigger, definitely, because it's on the big triangle, right? So if it's going to be bigger than 4, do I times or do I divide by the scale factor of 3? Well, if it's going to be bigger, I'll times it by the scale factor of 3. So there you go, just so you can see there's a scale factor and there's me timesing by it. Giving us a final answer of 12 centimeters. Bish bash bosh, you've just answered the question. So again, the steps are to figure out what the scale factor is by looking at sides that match that are between the same angles. That's why I would really suggest the colors is the way forward. So get them to match up and then use the colors. And then timesing or dividing by the scale factor as you need to either make the answer bigger or smaller. So here you go, my buddies, all by yourselves. I want you to pause the video and try that. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Find PR to find PS. Go. Right, buddies, and you're back. So I hope that you've done it the same way as me. First things first, I hope you colored in the angles so we don't make any mistakes. So the yellow one can be at the top because it's shared among the whole big triangle and the smaller triangle. So RST, the smaller triangle, and RPQ, the bigger triangle. It's shared. They both have yellow. The blue is going to be here. Okay? And that means that this is also blue. Now, the reason why that means that's also blue is because of the F angle. So you can see the big F. This will be the last time I drop, maybe. There's going to be the big F, like that, and like that. So you can see it's part of a fangle, my buddies. It's part of a corresponding angle. Cool. And similarly, that means then this is the greens. That matches, and there's a backward F to make that match. Okay. Step 1, my buddies, was to find the scale factor. So let's do it. You can work a scale factor either way, but I always love to do big over small because I like my numbers to be easy. Yeah, I don't ever want to get confused, so I always do big over small. So the sides that are matching are going to be this one, the 200 side, with the 100 side, definitely. Cool? The reason why I know it's them that match is because they're both between blue and green. Cool? So 200, which is the big, over 100, which is the small, gives us a scale factor of 2 in this case. Cool, 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 cool. Now, we want PR to start with. So PR is this whole length. So PR, I'm going to call it X, and PR goes all the way from there all the way to there, right? PR. Okay. Now, here's what you're going to do, buddies. PR is going to be matching up with SR. So this whole length between the blue that's at P and the yellow that's at R is going to match up with the blue that's at S and the yellow that's at R, because those two are the two that are between blue and yellow. Now, PR is bigger than SR, which means I'm going to multiply. So if I want to get PR, which I called X, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to put down the 75, which is the one it matches with, and I'm not going to divide by 2, but rather times by 2. Cool. Timesing by 2 because I want it to be bigger, which means it's 150 centimeters. So that's 150. Well, guess what, buddies? Now that you know that that's 150, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy to get the last bit, to get this little bit here, because if the whole thing's 150 and that's 75, so I'm going to call that Y, if the whole thing's 150 and that's 75, it just means that there's 75 left. So Y is just going to be, well, it's the 150 take the 75, which is 75 centimeters. Bish, bash, similarity, boss, my lovelies. Absolutely crushing this unit. Hopefully you feel absolutely sick. Okay, here we go. Last topic, well, not last topics, last questions, and these, believe it or not, are harder. Okie doke. So start off by sketching that out for me. If you dare, have a little bit of a go. And actually, if you feel very confident, like honestly, pause it now and have a go all by yourself, but make sure you tune in for the answer because it's a little bit harder than it looks. Okay. Right, and you're back. So here we go. First things first is let's get some labeling going. I'm going to call this the yellow side. I'm just going to color this the yellow side, the yellow angle. And instantly I know that this is yellow as well. Why do we know that that's yellow? Well, yeah, it's opposite. It's the opposite angles, right, my buddies? When you have two lines that cross, the things that are on either side are equal. So these are opposite angles. Now here's where it gets a little bit muddly, and that's why these questions are a little bit harder, my folks. So here you go. I'm going to color that one green. And which one goes green under here? Is it the one that's beside E or the one that's beside D? Actually, it's the one beside D. Now, let's see if you figured out why. It's because what you've got here is you've actually got an alternate angle, a Z angle, a zangle. Cool? Can you see that they're both on the arms of the Z angle? So they don't match up like they did in the last one, but rather they're like that. So there you go. Now same deal here, the blue, that's going to match this. For sure, for sure, for sure. So no problems at all there. And it's also a Z angle, as you can see. Cool. Next step, let's get our scale factor. I like to do big over small, and the sides that match are the ones that are between blue and green. So there's green and blue, there's blue and green. Okay, so it's the 10 and the 5 that are in matching to one another. There's nothing between the A and the C and the C and the D, so yeah, we've got nothing there, and the 12 doesn't match anything either. So here we go. Scale factor to start with, it's going to be the big over the small. So the 10 over the 5 to get 2. Picked those two sides because they are corresponding to one another, so scale factor equals 2. Cool. Now we want CD. CD is this one. Okay. Now if I'm after CD, here's the thing, buddies. CD is between green and yellow. Is it going to be matching with this side here, the 26, or this unlabeled side? Well, yeah, it's the 26 side. How do you know that? Well, it's because it's between green and yellow on both. That's why the coloring is so very important. Cool beans, buddies? So between green and yellow on both. So here we go. Start off by writing x equals, start with the 26, the one it matches with. And is it going to be bigger or smaller, the x, than the 26? Well, is it on the bigger triangle or the smaller one? Well, yeah, it's on the bigger one, because the base of that one was 10 and the base of this one's only 5. So it's actually going to be 26 divided by 2 in this case, which is 13. 13 centimeters, like a boss. Okay, very last question this lesson. It's going to be a short video, so help me. Is this one here, Shaboosh. I want you to have a go all by yourself and try not to follow along with me. So you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Okie doke, and you're back, buddies. Let's check it out. Well, this yellow, is definitely going to match this yellow here. For sure, for sure, for sure. Because they are opposite to one another. Next thing next, let's color this one green. Which one matches with the green on the other side? Is it this upward one as well? No, it isn't. You're right, my buddies, because it's a Z angle. So if you went up like this, down through the middle, and then up like that, the green actually goes here. So the two triangles are a twist of each other. And the same deal here. The blue one, if you color that side blue on this left triangle, the Z angle is going to go up like this, then down. So that's blue as well. So now we've got all the angles colored, and that's it. So we're ready for the scale factor. Scale factor equals. And what numbers do we have that match? Well, I see a 9 and a 15 that match because they're both between blue and yellow. So here we go. Big over small. 15. Oh my gosh, it's like real life. Does it feel like you're in the school again, my buddies? How exciting. Right, you've got to be honest with me right now. Which of you just reached for your pencil case to start packing away because you heard the bell? I know that you did. That's really, oh my gosh, you have to tell me if you did. I bet you at least one or two of you reached for it as soon as you heard the bell. Anyway, yeah, anyway. So the big one between the yellow and the blue is 15. So it's going to be 15 divided by 9. Well, 15 over 9, you can use a calculator. You don't need one, but whatever, let's use one. 15 divided by 9 is just 5. Oh gosh. Ooh, it is a terrible fraction. Oh, I thought it'd be something nice. Okay, oh, I just said I don't want to use terrible fractions, and here we go. So 15 over 9 actually just simplifies to 5/3 when you divide the top and bottom both by 3. So the scale factor here is 5/3, a fraction. Oh, drat. That's okay, though. Don't worry. It's no problem. 5 over 3, it's a fraction, but that doesn't change anything. It's just a bit weirder. Cool. And we want CD, which is the bottom. Okay? Sweet. Well, here we go, buddies. CD is between green and blue. On this one here, what's between green and blue? Well, yeah, the 10. So what do we write? Well, we write x equals 10. And do we want to go timesing or dividing? Is this triangle the small one or the big one that's to the right? Yeah, it's the small one. So we want to divide. Divide by 5/3. Now, you can whack it into your calculator if you like, but because we haven't used one yet, let's just not bother. So 10 divided by 5/3, you guys know, is 10 times 3 over 5. And that means that x equals, 5 goes into 10, 2 times 3 is 6 centimeters. Like an absolute beast, that is 6 centimeters. So how exciting, my lovelies. Happy days, 2 times 3 is 6, yeah, you got it, so no problem. I don't think I have anything else to tell you about that, so I hope it's okay. Please ask for help if you're stuck, and that's that. Here's what you're going to do for the whole rest of the lesson. I've got 2 worksheets for you, which, spoilers alert, 4 of the questions are already done for you because we just did them as together. But there are 16 questions in total, so 8 on each sheet. I want you to complete all 16 of them, okay? There's totally enough time to do that, because honestly, once you've done 2 or 3 or 4, they'll be nearly instant for you, buddies. So you should shade the angles, certainly to begin with. I might let you stop shading the angles in a couple of lessons' time, but you should be shading the angles, and you should be stating the scale factor for each question. When you're all the way done, take a photo of it as one single PDF and upload it onto Google Classroom for me, or however your teacher asks you to do it. And that's it from me. So have a lovely day. One more lesson virtually together, and then we actually get to see each other again. Hooray! So that's it from me. See you later. See you next time, buddies. Bye, buddies!